right, welcome into the show, everybody. Wideside Sports here. Randy sitting alongside Seth.
Yep.
Living the dream. First things first, elephant in the room. We added a camera into this one. We'll see if it gets posted or not. All that's got to be edited together. I tried doing this a while ago, but YouTube pulled all my stuff down to too much raw sexuality, is what they said.
Raw sex appeal.
And it was causing problems on the internet. So,
I mean, when you Google fat porn and we're the first ones to pop up, it's not good on YouTube.
I don't know what they thought we were doing. It was just a sports show.
Yeah.
Nobody was trying to do anything sexual.
No.
But it just drips.
Yeah.
It just drips sexuality.
Just drips sexuality.
And if we do post it, you'll be able to see a big gulp and stuff like that. Some soda on the table.
It's pop, but yeah, we'll be able to see it.
Okay. Now that we got rid of that, a lot of things to dive into, but I want to hit something first because we can talk about college a little bit because I know we was just talking about Jim Harbaugh, about reports coming out that they think if he's offered the job, he would take the Raiders job.
Yeah.
And as we both just said, is like, well, he hadn't even interviewed for it yet.
Yeah. And I said, like, the Raiders are the organization to just call him up and say, hey, if you want it, it's yours. To not do the interview. I feel like you have to interview for it. You haven't been in the league in 5 years.
Yeah.
Shit's changed. Policies have changed. All kinds of things have changed. I feel like you have to kind of re-interview and reestablish yourself as an NFL coach to do it, or you're going to just run into a situation that ran you out in the first place of pissing everybody off.
And especially with that place, with what they've gone through, it's like, it'd be like the only two places of, hey, here in Washington is where I'd go of like, okay, so the two worst places that have had the worst year as far as outside of football.
Yeah. And, it's the only, professional sports are the only places where your players should have an input on who coaches them, just because it's not a player coach. You work with the guy, like we always talk about. It's not a boss situation. You work with the coach.
Right.
And for the kind of outpour that the players have said that they like the Rich, their interim head coach.
Bisaccia.
Yeah,
I know you trouble
I can't say
saying that. Richie Meatballs.
Yeah.
What we like to call him.
You're going to have to win over a lot of people just to make them not hate you,
right? Because
you took this guy's job, the guy that they're vouching for. That alone, I think, is a bad situation to go into. Your players want this guy. Now, I know at the end of the day, it's not their choice, but still, your players want this guy. You don't want to be the guy going in that's not that guy.
Yeah,
that's a bad situation.
Well, and that's one of those things. I know a lot of people always give the, you never hire the interim coach. Well, there's a lot of times that the team doesn't like the interim coach.
Exactly.
But with everything that went on, they made it to the playoffs. Good chance to at least take it into overtime.
Yeah, exactly.
And they seem to like the guy.
Yeah.
So that's the difference to me.
You can call it a fight for your job. You can just call. We don't know the guy. You could just call it he's a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a very big-hearted guy. He hand-wrote letters to all of his players after the game.
The only thing I don't like about that is somebody took a picture of it happening.
I don't like that either.
Because it's like, well, did you write them or did you do this for the picture to make it? That bothered me.
That bothered me, too. If it just a report came out, that'd have been different.
Yeah.
But the fact that he took the time to do that, and I'm not saying that's what everybody does, but he cares about those guys,
What if he just said, hey, Derek, fuck you.
Thanks for losing, guys.
Thanks for throwing that interception. Thanks for throwing a pass that wasn't even to the goal line.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean,
I think that's the argument my wife and I had. Obviously, she doesn't really have a team, but she sides with the Bengals from her family.
Yeah.
So she was rooting for the Bengals. I was rooting for the Bengals because fuck the Raiders.
Okay.
But it was like, you threw that pass. She's like, oh, I got the interception. I'm like, but he didn't even throw it in the end zone.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even thrown.
Even if the guy caught it, he had two guys on him.
Yeah, you didn't score.
Getting in.
No. It was,
you got a little high pitch there.
I know it.
Getting into it.
Yeah.
But rolling back on the Harbaugh thing, it's because he's under negotiations with Michigan.
Yeah.
100%. This is just a float my name out there and get me a raise at Michigan. But basically, I feel like Michigan would be like, all right, take it. Because I don't know that they're sold on him forever anyways. Of like, hey, if you're going to do this to get a raise, you're not our guy.
I agree with that. I think he's still a prove-it guy. You've done this once, and when I mean this, I mean you beat Ohio State once in your tenure there. You made the Big Ten championship game once, and you've been to the playoffs once.
Yeah.
You got to do it again if it's me and I'm in charge, you got to do it again, or at least consistently. You haven't been close. You've been to one Ohio State game that's been close.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than obviously the one that they won.
Right. Gotcha.
But it's, you got to do it consistently. And the guy still hasn't beaten Michigan State, which is, as a Michigan coach, you got to do both. You got to beat Michigan State and you got to beat Ohio State.
Well, it's the same concept as it is for Ryan Day. Hey, you got to beat Michigan and win every other game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of, now Michigan's not at that level, but they're heading that way. Their recruiting's been better. Getting that defensive coordinator from his brother.
Yeah.
That was a big help.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's one thing I think he does. You never hear him admit when he's wrong, but you see it in who he hires.
Yeah.
When Urban got rid of some guys at Ohio State, what did he do? He went and scooped them up because he's thinking, oh, maybe we can do what they're doing here. He's trying it. At least he's trying. Now, it didn't work out for him, but, you bring a guy in from the NFL. Big help.
Yeah.
No matter what. It's a different level. Yeah, exactly. Whether he was wanted at Baltimore or not anymore, still pretty good at what he's doing and still has NFL coach. So.
And I found that, so I don't think Harbaugh is going, which again, they keep talking this of like, whether you like Bisaccia or not, first and foremost, Raiders have to hire a GM. You can't hire a coach before the GM.
Yeah, it never works out.
You need to hire the GM first because the coach needs to report to the GM so they can work together. Because you saw what happened is Gruden, I think we all kind of know that Gruden made those decisions, but it got it to the point of Mayock not getting another job, or or if they say it's him, well, how do you go back to TV and tell people how to draft because like yours were terrible?
Yours were bad. I don't. You make an excellent point. That's why he got the job, was his scouting.
Yeah,
I mean that's 100% why he got the job.
His scouting and probably going to be a pushover, and they needed a pushover for John Gruden.
Yes, they did,
because they didn't want to give him the GM job, but
he had he kind of bit himself in the ass like the first year that he got the job when he said that they were going to sign and draft good players, like wholesome players.
Yeah.
And then you sign Vontez Perfect,
right?
Richie Incognito. You draft Henry Ruggs. Now you don't know that situation, how it was going to play out. You get a lot of these. You sign Antonio Brown. You trade for him, actually. Sorry.
Well, but I'm gonna give him a couple breaks on one. Richie Incognito. He had the problem there in Miami.
Yeah. Other than that,
but beloved around the NFL through all the players.
Yes.
Antonio Brown forced his way out.
Mm-hmm.
Now all the bad shit didn't happen till he was already there.
Yeah. So. And there's asterisks by every one of your things, but your drafting has not. You drafted one guy in your term there.
Yeah.
It's Hunter Renfrow. Drafted him in the 4th round.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only.
He's great. He's Wes Welker.
Yeah, and he's fantastic. That's your only win in your drafting. Josh, I'll give him Josh Jacobs. Should have drafted him in the 1st round, but he's a pretty good back.
And then they take a defensive back from Ohio State that is garbage. That was a 3rd round pick that they took 18th or something.
They did Raiders shit.
Yeah.
They did Raiders shit. I mean, they draft. I don't know if they think they're going to get a steal or whatever, but
well, that's why I always thought that I didn't think the Harbaugh thing was going to work out, mainly for the fact of no matter who the GM has been, they have always done Raiders shit.
Yeah. And I don't think that's him.
I don't think it is either.
He's a very, precise, clean cut kind of. Hey, this is what I like in my football team. This is what we're going to draft. We're not going to go out there and just get people just because you like them.
Right.
And he did something. He did it with the Niners. He did it with Michigan. Is he always starts from the trenches? That's where the Raiders are really, really bad at. So I feel like he would help them in that aspect.
That's the other thing with Bisaccia that you could say of, hey, you remember over the summer when they cut every single offensive lineman?
Yeah, exactly.
And then never really splash signed anybody. They just we'll get some pieces.
Mm-hmm.
He took them to the playoffs. So
yep.
I'm a Bisaccia guy. I like Italian food.
Yeah.
So
I don't, other than pizza.
I don't know I don't know how Italian pizza is.
It's not.
It's more.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Americanized.
Our idea of pizza.
Yeah, it's not theirs.
Italia.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was going to say it that way. Their idea of pizza is very different than ours.
I don't know, but I'm with you. I think that he should get a crack at it. Oh, yeah. Well, why not? The players seem to love him. You're going to do Raiders stuff. The only thing is you haven't hired a GM yet, and I don't even know if you've interviewed guys for your GM spot.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know that they've really hardly no, they're interviewing a guy today. It's probably over by now.
Probably.
Like their first interview for a
GM spot. Yeah, because I know that they
supposed to be having lunch or something. That came in a little hot.
Yeah. Well,
using these different cables, I have to adjust the line here.
So I know that they interviewed Richie Meatballs, and then they asked for Flores. They asked to interview with him.
Yeah, well, they didn't need any permission for him.
No, you're right. They requested or whatever. They just asked him if he would come and do an interview.
Which I believe he is interviewing with the Giants, which is weird.
They just hired their GM today.
Yeah, from the Bills.
Bills.
So everybody just assumes Dable's going to go there, but you don't know that. He might not want to be there. But the fact they're interviewing Flores of like, he just fired a Belichick guy.
Yeah.
You can bring another one in?
Yeah, I don't like that.
Because I think it comes that Flores kind of hard ass of maybe that's not your guy.
The Belichick coaching tree should no longer
be a thing.
They're bad. The only person who had any success is Josh McDaniels, and he got fired after the first year because his players hated him.
Right. Because you can't do that.
Yeah, he went 8-8. That's the best record that any of his
won a playoff game.
With
team.
No,
Tebow.
that was John Fox. He wasn't there with that. He was there with Jay Cutler.
He drafted.
He made Jay Cutler
Tebow.
want to get traded.
Yeah. Well, he drafted Tebow.
Nope,
Wasn't that?
Does John Fox?
That too?
Yeah, he literally.
Man, I thought he had Tebow there.
No, McDaniels literally did 1 year. He started out 6-0, but finished the season 8-8, and then got fired. And then the next year,
because it was a big deal because he beat Belichick.
Yes,
and that was almost damn near the last game he won.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah, that was like 6-0.
That's our Super Bowl.
6-0 hit there. It was like, yep, all downhill from here. Yeah, it was. I just don't get that tree. It's, and I'm not saying obviously it's. You don't want to blame Belichick because he does things his way.
Yeah,
I just think people are trying to mimic that, and they're not. It's not them.
Well, I'll tell you this right now, because it's happened 2 years in a row. They just got blown out of the playoffs. We'll talk about those games here in a little bit. But you go another 2 or 3 years without winning anything, then the Belichick Patriot way doesn't work anymore either. Oh, you're going to scream at it's going to be this roughhouse play and we're not any good?
Yeah, no.
It's not going to work because full-blown adults.
Yeah. And I don't know. I have a tough time believing that he's a screamer. You know what I mean? Unless you're just really bad or not doing your job. I mean, like we've talked about his rules. If you're not following those 3, you're probably getting yelled at.
Yeah.
But
as you should. You're a professional.
Yeah, exactly. I just, the guys who try to mimic it are not him. They don't have that respect level yet, and you haven't proven anything. And like we talked about last week, those guys go to sucky teams.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get any of that kind of patriotism towards your own team.
Right.
If you're going to continue to get 4 wins. Nobody's going to want to, this is the Jets way. This is the Giants way.
Yeah,
we suck.
We lose 2 games. We win 2 games.
That's the way we do it here. There's none of that.
We compete for number 1 picks
every year. That's what we do. That's the toughest place. And I mean, I don't know. That's what I feel like. Quit giving those guys. Give it a break here.
Yeah, stop.
Give it a rest.
Stop thinking that you're going to hire your way into a great thing just by hiring a Patriot.
And because you're not.
It's not.
You hire the guy. You don't hire the guy where they came from.
Right.
And there's got to be red flags in the interview.
Yeah.
Has to be. when you're coming in and, you're excited, there's a difference between the people who do interviews, and you can tell it, we can tell it as just normal people who's full of shit and who is themselves. You can watch a interview with when Matt Patricia got the Lions job. He sounded full of shit because everybody knew you can't do that shit in Detroit because they're not any good. Now, you flip it and you have the guy that's there now who mentioned nothing about X's and O's, only attitude.
Biting kneecaps off.
And you could tell that's what he is. He's that kind of that kind of gritty guy. So that's the difference is Patricia was trying to portray something that he's not, and this guy's just being himself, talking about attitude. He didn't give a fuck how many wins they got.
It's like Sirianni. Every time he gets a microphone in front of him, he sounds like a jackass.
Yeah.
Turns out, pretty good coach.
Yeah.
Because, after they got tallywhacked.
Nice.
Good word.
Yeah.
There's nothing on that team. I mean, Devontae's,
nothing on that team,
but
though.
There's nothing on that team.
And
now, granted, they beat a lot of bad teams, but a lot of teams do that. The Patriots, they talk about that all.
Yeah.
Hey, their offense, or hey, their defense. Well, do you ever think that maybe they just held the Jets to under 10 points multiple times?
Yeah,
and the Jets of like, you get a lot of credit for that too.
You caught the Bills in a passing offense on a day where it's windy,
blowing 50 mile an hour.
Yeah,
and they beat the Titans and the Bills in a 50 mile an hour wind game. It's the only two playoff teams they beat.
Yep.
So shove your stats.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to flip back to college real quick before we get into the whole NFL thing. So I had a thought. I started working out yesterday. I was reading more articles on the playoff expansion and about how it's basically ACC, Big Ten, and the Pac-12 that are holding it up. Everybody else is good for it, and they're the ones
God damn it.
holding it up.
God damn it.
And I started thinking and listening to Greg Sankey going, look, hey, we're willing to do this as the SEC, even though
we don't need to.
We don't need to. It does us no good. I mean, we got half the field anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So here is my thought of what should happen.
Okay.
I think we all agree Kevin Wilson's a moron.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kevin Warren.
You're getting
Kevin
those
mixed up again.
Yeah, Kevin Warren. My bad.
You're good.
That Kevin, he seems like he's over his shoes for what's going on right now of like, the train's moving forward. Expansion is coming. Let's get on board, figure it out, get it going.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to hold it up for a Rose Bowl and all this stuff. And aligning yourself. You should be trying to align with the SEC, not align with the Pac-12 and the ACC.
Yeah, you're taking the Big Ten in a backwards motion.
Yeah.
By siding with mediocrity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the bottom line there. You want to run with the big dogs.
So here is exactly what I think should happen.
Okay.
Ohio State should file their paperwork to leave the Big Ten.
Okay.
Also, Michigan should do the same. Clemson should leave the ACC. USC needs to leave the Pac-12. Florida State out of the ACC. All join the SEC. And I don't know what that number, but look for 24 or whatever, and then just say, hey, the rest of you guys do what you want.
We're going to do this.
We're going to have two halves. Say if we got 12 teams on each half, we'll run through it, play each other, and then we're just going to do our own playoff.
Yeah.
And then whoever wins this, we're just going to call national champions.
Yeah, I mean,
the contract for that is going to be massive.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh my God, could you imagine that TV deal? Hey, you mean
it's like a secondary NFL?
Yeah.
Of like, look, if you guys are going to do this, because we're by us staying in this, we're giving you money.
Yeah.
And on that too, like Michigan State, Penn State, stuff,
Yep.
Whatever you get to the 24 to 28 teams, just have one super conference and call it. Because what's going to happen, a lot of people are going to go out and say, well, then you can't have the other, Kentucky's and them in there. Well, when you do that, those teams are instantly going to get better.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Because all of the recruits are going to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
now
exactly
you got
what.
something.
Now you have to. Now, if you're those other two conferences, you're like, shit.
You're over.
Yeah.
You go play your 1AA stuff. Or play your bowl games, because that seems like that's what you want to do.
If you're Kevin Warren as the Big Ten commissioner, and if you would agree to expand the 12 teams, you are almost getting 3 teams in every year.
If there wouldn't have been a blowout if Iowa didn't get blown out by Michigan, there would have been 3 teams in this.
Yeah.
If they'd have just won a close one or kept it within
exactly
10 points, you'd had 3 teams in from the Big Ten this year.
Yeah.
Hey, man, that's more money for your conference.
Yeah, and I just don't get...
And it's a little upsetting that Ohio State doesn't throw their weight around a little more of like, hey, this is the way it's going. Let's not.
I feel like the old president would. Gee.
No, he's against it.
Oh, he is?
He's at West Virginia now, totally against it.
Oh, wow.
But, he's a dork.
Yeah, he is.
And also old and white.
Yeah. I don't know why people fight change so much. And I get it to an extent of if it's not better change, this is completely better for everyone.
Everybody.
Everyone. It is way better for everyone. And if you are somebody who, when they came up with the college football playoffs and thought, oh man, this is fantastic, it'll never change, you're stupid.
Yeah.
You're stupid.
It was always going.
Always going to change. Everything's going to change.
The problem that college football had is, hey, you were the only sport in existence up until 1998 that didn't really crown a national champion.
Mm-hmm.
And then for 10 years, you kind of just barely did.
Yeah, because it was all weird.
Yeah, I mean, it was only 2 teams. And now you've gotten to 4 of like, and then, they say, well, we can't do this. It's like, hell, your 1AA and your Division 2s, they have like 24 teams in their playoffs, and they seem to do it.
Yeah, they do it fine.
And I don't want to hear, well, it's for the safety. Well, then go back to 10 games in a bowl game.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to do that, are you?
No.
Okay, so it's always about money.
Mm-hmm.
So just admit that and go do it. You don't care about the education of these kids.
No.
You just don't.
No.
You care about the money that comes in that you built that new science building.
Yeah, exactly.
When that stuff goes away, you care. I mean.
It's just a shame. It's a shame that everybody's afraid of the SEC. Instead of, because realistically, you look at conference-wise, year in and year out, Clemson competes, Ohio State competes, Michigan seems to be on the uprise.
On the way.
You always have a Michigan State, Wisconsin, Iowa that's in the mix.
Yep.
And then if you're the Pac-12, Oregon, Utah, USC, those are usually your typical ones that, are good in your eyes. You want to compare yourself to the best. You want to, I'm listening to what that guy has to say because he runs the best conference. They have the best teams in the conference. I just don't get it. And I think it comes back to the day and age now where it's like, well, we got to get, it's almost that everybody wins kind of thing.
Yeah.
We want everybody to play kind of thing. And it's, instead of, we don't want to go to the playoffs in case they get blown out. Well, everybody gets fucking blown out in the playoffs.
It's what happens.
It's what happens. That's
technically Alabama got blown out in the playoffs this year. So
and I just don't get that. As it's almost that they're afraid to do that because their teams are going to have to play an SEC school. Because if you have 12 teams, there's 4 SEC schools at least.
Yeah. Well, and that's what the ACC and the Big Ten and the Pac-12 they're banding together to get 6 automatic berths in to try to limit how many SEC schools can get in. It's like, well, now you're not having a playoff.
No.
And your conferences, pretty good chance that your conference champion's getting in every year.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be a weird
scenario.
It'd be a weird thing if UFC won the Pac-12 but was ranked 25th.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
just not going to happen.
And if it does, you shouldn't be in.
Yeah. But it's not going to happen.
No.
It's not. It's as soon as, hell, everybody wanted to jump. Oregon was all the way up to like 3 at one point in time. It's you're going to get your best schools in your conference. Everybody else was never getting in anyway. And I feel like that's their mindset though. It's like, well, our best teams they're already playing, so might as well not change it.
Yeah,
but
they want it gifted in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're not going to be good at football because I'm going to tell you what. USC starts winning and then gets left out or something like that, they're going to want to change that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if USC 2 years could be really good.
Yeah. Yeah, Lincoln Riley's not a pushover. He's a good coach, man. And he is in a prime recruiting spot.
Oh, my God.
That is USC. That is prime recruiting. You're in California. Why wouldn't kids want to come play in fucking California?
Yeah.
The fact that Ohio's getting kids to come play in Ohio is incredible in itself.
And they only come there because they put people in the NFL.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and they always have.
And
that's
if you
why
pump people in the NFL out of USC, guess what? They all start coming back.
Yeah.
You can go compete for a national championship and not leave LA. You could just recruit LA and compete for a national championship.
100%. Yeah, I that's the stuff that pisses me off, man. That why don't you want change for the better? It's going to better you guys.
Yeah.
As a conference, and fuck. Every conference only has 1 to 3 teams.
That's it.
And that's what competition is fighting for that spot. It's just bullshit to me. It is. It's ridiculous that, one, that there's not a commissioner of college football to say, hey, no, this is what we're doing. If you want in, you're in. If you don't, do your own fucking thing.
Do your own thing.
This is what we're doing.
We're moving forward.
Yep. If you want in, great. If not, see you later. Go play something else. I don't give a shit. And that's what somebody needs to step in and say that, or we're just going to keep having this fucking fight all the time of, oh, you guys are good and we don't want to play you.
It shouldn't be even. Like, I'll tell you what, you take 20 scholarships a year away from Alabama and they still whoop your ass.
100%.
I mean,
it's weird. It's weird that's where we're at with that.
And I did see, too, moving on to another subject, of the Ohio State hires Cincinnati's defensive backs coach, so Cincinnati hires Kerry Coombs. It's like,
did
you guys just trade contracts, or what do we do? I mean, you just trading people?
Basically.
I mean,
basically. I that was my guess where he was going, just because of the connection with him and Fickle, and he went to the NFL with Vrabel. It's not like he went to a different. It's Ohio State ties. That's all it is. And he coached at Cincinnati. Actually, when I was in school, I got invited to a camp down in Cincinnati, and he was the guy at the front door at 7 a.m, yelling good morning to everybody with his cup of coffee, because that's just who the guy is.
Yeah,
he's just a fun guy to have around. You know.
Which, good for Cincinnati, because he's a good defensive backs guy. He just wasn't, he wasn't a defense coordinator.
And the only issue that I would ever have with him is evolve the way that you coach the position.
Yeah.
Because the turnaround, face the receiver, put your hands up.
Yeah.
It's not, one, it's a penalty now. 2, it's almost all the time pass interference. 3, it's just, there's a more advanced way to do that. And that would be the only thing that I would critique him is these guys at Ohio State came in as 5 stars, so they're already pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you look at it in the NFL, there's only 1 or 2 that are mentioned still as elite.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, Marshawn Lattimore, the only 2 really Ohio State DBs that he coached that are still considered elite DBs.
Yeah, and one of them is going to be a liability for my team this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Eli Apple's a liability. But I don't think that he developed them up any higher.
No,
he just used what they had and then went
when they
with
got
it.
drafted on skill, and then they get to the NFL, and it's a different game of oh well, your skill set, you were just going on.
I'm
an athlete.
I'm an athlete. I'm better than the people I play against.
Yeah, and well, that ain't the way the NFL is. So.
No, not at all.
I guess moving out of the college, the only other hire today, the Carolina Panthers hired offensive guru and mustache ride enthusiast Ben McAdoo.
That one didn't make any sense to me.
I didn't even know he was still in the league anymore.
That
whole Giants. The way that all went down of there's so many guys out there with NFL experience.
Yeah.
Of that's a weird
hire.
Especially you don't even have a quarterback.
Yeah. The only thing McAdoo has for him is that he coached Aaron Rodgers. That's the only thing he has going for him.
Yeah.
Because he was, I guess you can say he coached Eli Manning, but that was towards the end of his career. But he was on the starting page of Giants downhill.
100% was.
He didn't draft well. His offense got really, really bad. Eli stayed 2 years too long for me.
Yeah. He did it for you?
Yeah, for me. Yeah, he did. I asked him to. He shot him in text. But he's that, when you think of the Giants' downfall, he's that's like his face.
Yeah.
It's right there. Like, this is the guy who started that.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't any good. And then he was just so weird on the side. I don't know. He seemed more of a distraction at the end when he got fired than anything, just because he started slicking his hair back and he has mustache and like a fucking biker. Weird hire. And then they did 2 interviews with Jay Gruden. I don't know if he just has pissed everybody off to not get a job anymore, but the guy was a fantastic offensive coordinator.
Yeah, he was kind of, I'm guessing he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, the way he kind of threw a grenade into the situation in Washington of like, kind of threw a fit and of like, it feels like you were losing games on purpose. And it was like, hey, well, you're kind of running yourself out of the league here.
Mm-hmm. I know. That was my thoughts too, because I did 2 interviews with Gruden and only 1 with McAdoo. It was like it took 2 interviews for you to be like, oh, nope, he's not our guy.
You know, their owner has a mustache.
Yeah.
And maybe he's like, hey.
Mustache people stay together.
Hey,
this is the guy we need.
Imagine how the girls at the local strip club are going to feel now.
Yeah. But you're right, though. You hire an offensive coordinator with no quarterback.
Yeah.
No quarterback.
Because Cam Newton's done.
They played 3 quarterbacks this year.
Yeah.
They played 3 quarterbacks in 1 game.
Yeah. Well, they got to cut or trade Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, they got to trade him. They got to trade him.
Or cut. You're not going to be able to trade him. It's $18 million next year.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're just going to eat you're just going to eat the salary and get a, 3rd rounder? He's a running back. He's not worth it. And he hasn't played for 2 years.
Yeah. That's one where it hurts to watch him not play because he's so fucking good. Yeah. When he is 100%, he's so awesome to watch.
He's too good.
Yeah.
I think. Kind of one of those, like, when Bo Jackson got hurt, it was like, he got hurt because he was too good and too strong.
Uh-huh.
Because everybody else would have just got tackled.
Yeah.
He kind of ran through it and blew his hip out of the side of it. I mean.
Yeah. That's a shame for him, too, man. I feel the same way with Saquon. I was a big Saquon fan.
I was not.
I know you were.
I always knew he was going to be a bust.
And I knew he was always going to be accident prone because it was almost that Eddie George effect where they just ran his ass into the ground in college. I mean, when you're getting the ball 30 times a game for 4 years, because he stayed 3 years. It's like, wow, that's.
Well, yeah, and he wasn't like, oh, he's got big quads and stuff. That's all well good. But I think a lot of people forget, like, the Eddie George thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody talks about Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Well, Eddie George was Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry existed.
Exactly.
They're like the same size.
100%. And it's the same kind of thing.
Kind of the same. All right, I'll just keep beating your ass until you don't want to tackle me anymore.
Uh-huh. That's kind of what
happened.
Yeah. Oh,
but yeah,
man.
Saquon was always going to be a bust.
Yeah.
Especially there.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think it was going to work out. It didn't work.
But that's another one of those things. That's what that franchise does. You have no offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. You have no weapons. You draft a quarterback, and then the next year you draft a running back and then a quarterback. Like you never paired anything together.
Mm-hmm. You knew, and the bad part is you knew that was Eli's last year.
Yeah.
So when you have drafted somebody it's what bad organizations do.
Well, it's one of those things of you never fix your line. You traded away Odell Beckham.
Yeah.
Drafted a freaking running back and then a quarterback and still never addressed your offensive line.
Nope.
And then, draft a defensive tackle. I'm like, okay, there we go.
That's what you're doing.
Yep.
No, man.
So you want to get into some games?
Yeah. Let's start with the Saturday slate.
Yeah, we'll just run it through the list of the Bengals game was the first one going out.
First one going out. One of the only good ones of the weekend.
Garbage.
It was a garbage weekend of... Nah, it's still football. Fuck it. I don't care.
I watched every snap
same
of
here.
it.
Same here. The Bengals game, man, they have to learn to fucking put teams away.
Got to score. You can't kick 2 field goals inside the 10-yard line against the worst red zone defense.
Yes.
80% of people that got inside the 20 on the Raiders scored touchdowns, and you kicked 2 field goals. And then your 1 touchdown is
in question.
Suspect at best. Do I think it affected the play? No. The ball was, when the whistle blew, the ball was like 8 feet away from the guy. There was nobody around him. But then the NFL will come out and say, no, it was after he caught it. It's like,
no, it wasn't.
Hey, do you,
because we heard the
that's
whistle
on film, right?
Yeah.
And they ran it in slow motion and isolated it.
And they played it on national television multiple times.
It's okay if they came to that decision on the field, but after the game, you can't stick by it and go, hey, that whistle blown up, it should have been stopped and replayed. We don't really think it affected the play. and then just call it.
Yeah,
Of
because it didn't.
It didn't.
It made no difference.
But I love how people were like, well, then they would have went into overtime if they didn't give that. It's like, well, you assuming they didn't kick a field goal there or that they didn't score on the next play?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, and that's what, the first quarter? Of like, so you're thinking that one play wouldn't have changed the whole game?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I in real time, I thought he stepped out of bounds because
that's why
they panned off of him to the end zone, and I was like, oh shit, he stepped out of bounds. And I was like, nope, they just blew it for no reason.
You could see the guy who blew it.
Yeah.
Was looking at his foot, and as soon as his foot touched, that's when he blew it, and wasn't paying attention that he threw the ball.
Threw the ball, yeah. But that game was, I mean, if they are going to beat the Titans, they have to score touchdowns because the Titans are going to hold the ball. Derrick Henry he's starting, he's back. They're going to ride his coattail till they can't. That's just what they do.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying he's getting 100% of the snaps and carries and stuff, but the Bengals have to take advantage of touchdowns.
The whole thing, like in the Bengals, they dominated the game.
Yeah, but the score
they
never
didn't
showed
punt
it
until the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
they scored on every possession. It's just like, well, you just can't.
And
you can't kick 5 field goals.
The one thing that I will critique the coach about is he got very, very conservative in the fourth quarter.
Oh yeah,
when you are only up a touchdown.
Yeah,
it's okay if you're going to run the ball, do it all game.
Yeah,
if you're going to throw the ball, let's just go ahead and do it all game unless you're up by 4 scores.
Yeah. And I get, you don't want to
pressure
pack, never been there before.
And I get that part of it.
I get it.
But you went all season not conservative.
Yeah.
Don't stop it because that's your swagger. That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
You're playing to the whistle. I mean, you were beating Baltimore and still throwing the ball. So don't act like this. You don't do that. Don't act like you play the smart route about it. You went for it fucking 4 times on the goal line against Kansas City. Don't act like you're the conservative type there. But other than that, the Raiders had a chance to tie it.
Yeah.
They Derek Carr'd it.
Didn't.
I don't know.
Closer than it should have been.
Yeah, that's all it was.
But, other than that, that's what the game was.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I like what Joe Burrow said after of like, hey, this is, it's important to the city and stuff, but like this is just a standard. And I like the cockiness, or not really cockiness, but the swagger of the, hey, this is a standard here. Like, we're not okay with just this.
Yeah. Love that. That's your quarterback. That's what he has. That's what he should say. The only thing that I'll say is like, he said that we're not going to go celebrate like this we did with the division. Like,
yeah.
Well, you did win the division, which is fantastic. Nobody thought you were, but we thought you were here either. So go enjoy this just as much as you did the division title. But said all the right things, doing all the right things. I just would like the consistency of the play calling being as aggressive as they should be.
Right.
That'd be my only thing. And I think that kind of hurt. And you could tell his play calling got less aggressive when they got inside the 22.
100% did.
I mean, there was, I don't know. And I get it. You've never been there. You're really wanting to win.
And you're trying to protect that turnover because in the playoffs, that turnover kills you.
Yep. And I 100% get that. It's just not what got you there.
And a lot of it was very Jamar Chase heavy, which it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But like Higgins and Boyd, like it was like,
they weren't there.
Boyd never got, like he's kind of that over the middle guy, which is what opens up the outside, and never really until like the 3rd or 4th quarter.
Yeah. I think my favorite part was they actually started using Uzama.
Yeah.
He's a good tight end.
Absolutely.
Good tight end. He's reliable. I mean, he reminds me of a little bit of that Heath Miller, where not flashy.
Yep.
Not going to outrun anybody or anything like that, but he's always there.
Get you 8 yards.
He's going to catch the ball and get what he's going to get.
Yeah.
And that's just that all reliable kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, in the playoffs, I'm going to throw it to the people who are going to catch it. Boyd always catches it seems to do on 3rd downs.
Yep.
You want to throw it to him. Chase, hit him with his deep routes all he wants, but those guys running across the middle, hit those guys every once in a while too.
So moving on, I think the next game was the Bills game, which
goddamn,
they played a perfect game.
Yeah, no, they were fantastic. It was so fun to watch what they did.
That interception.
Oh my God.
I mean, Micah Hyde ripped the heart out of every Patriots fan on their first drive.
I did.
Like, oh my God, here's hey, we're ready to go. And then like, that might be the greatest interception I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. When I watched it live, I was watching it. My wife and child were asleep.
Right.
I was like, oh, game's over.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you had the best drive. You had one of the best drives. You were running it. You were throwing. You were getting first downs. You were, you looked okay, Mac Jones. Now, I'm not saying all his fault, but he come across. You threw a perfect ball. The Patriots guy had the dude beat. You threw it perfectly, and Michael Hyde comes out of nowhere. I'm like, yeah, you're not coming back from that.
Yeah.
These guys are ready to play, and that was just an elite play right there.
Over.
Yeah. But Josh Allen, man, I was thinking this. Has there been in the recent years of drafting quarterbacks, FCS quarterbacks that have developed better than Josh Allen?
No. Nobody's ever given any time.
That's what I mean. And it's incredible what time does.
Like Bean was very adamant of, he's our guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be some growing pains.
Yeah.
But we're going to let him.
Yeah.
We're not bringing in a veteran.
Mm-hmm. It's kudos to them
for doing that.
Because we all saw the raw talent that he had. Because the guy was a freak. I mean, he could sling the ball. Him running the ball is still phenomenal to me. It's like, how are you that big and you're that nimble?
How bad did that defensive back for the Patriots get it on the sideline when he, shook it? I mean, and then it was such a great thing as he shook the shit out of him, took 3 more steps, and then slid.
Yeah.
Of like, he could have slid here, but he decided not to and just embarrassed you.
I think one of my favorite ones was his very first run. He took off, and that Matthew Judon for the Patriots is there, and he takes a little in cut out, and he does Judon does like a 360. He's like, fuck, He's like, God damn it, I got torched by this guy.
But that was a
statement game.
After the first quarter of watching how the Bills were playing, you were instantly getting excited. Yeah. Because you knew what was coming.
Sean McDermott is a very, very, very quiet guy. Doesn't get a lot of the attention because it's Buffalo. There's not a market there. The fans are awesome, but there's not a market there.
Right.
Quietly becoming one of the better and more consistent coaches in the league.
Yeah.
Since he's been there, really. I mean, I think they made it to the playoffs the first year he was there. With the Andy Dalton thing. I think that was his first year. I think, and then everything else is just kind of came into play, and I really like the guy.
Yeah,
I do. He's just one of those guys who seems, he's the guy who you think, if you want to be a Bill Belichick guy, I feel like that's him. He lets his players have fun. He lets them be them, but there's also a way we do things.
And you can tell how much those guys like each other.
Yeah.
And then like with them releasing all the mic'd up stuff of how they're fans of each other on the sideline.
Yep.
I mean, that's okay.
That's
you got a pretty good thing going on there.
And that's all him.
Yeah.
It's got to be him.
Yeah.
When you feel, one, that your coach has your back, and two, you're not going to get screamed at for being fun. You play loose.
Yeah.
And you play excited, and I really like that guy.
Yeah. Well, and then
I saw where Belichick goes into their locker room after the game, which, one, kudos to Belichick for doing that. He probably is the only coach that could do that.
Yeah. 100%.
With enough respect
to just walk in and be like, hey, good job.
And I feel like McDermott needs that same exact credit, because he could have easily said, get the fuck out of my locker room. This is my locker room.
Yeah.
He easily could have said it. And I don't think Belichick would have thought twice about it.
No, but I think, obviously, they talk about rivalries and stuff, but those coaches have been around.
Yes.
And Belichick's more of everybody knows he is about the game.
Mm-hmm.
He is about the NFL.
Yeah.
But I also would have loved if it was mic'd up, if if it was like him going up to Josh Allen and being like, hey, good game, but I'm here to tell you we're going to beat your fucking ass next year.
Yeah. But for him to go in there after that ass whooping, super cool.
Yeah.
Because it was all positives. It wasn't anything stupid.
Just telling everybody, hey, good job.
Good job, good luck. Hope you beat the fucking Chiefs, stuff like that.
Stuff like that of, hey, we couldn't do it, so represent.
Yep. And that's cool. And That was my first thought. Was like, that motherfucker is the only one who could do that.
Because I feel like Belichick is also obviously he wants to win it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But not even just the AFC.
Yeah,
I bet it was almost, hey, represent the East.
The East, yeah.
He takes it that serious. Of like, hey, if we can't win it, I want somebody from our division to win it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, okay, well, who else?
Nobody.
And the only one I could think of was Tomlin. Tomlin seems like the only guy who could, he could walk in. He could walk in, and people would respect him.
And he's probably done that.
Oh, 100%. I can't. Yeah, there's not a game where I thought he wouldn't do that, but just take example he goes in after the Chiefs game. People are going to listen.
Right.
They're not just going to, they're just saying that because we beat their ass. No, they're going to respect the guy enough to listen to what he has to say.
So moving on, we don't really need to talk about the Tampa game.
No.
It was over before it started. Really not
the only thing I want to talk about with that game is, are the Eagles still in a mindset of finding a quarterback, or do you think they're going to stick with Hurts?
They've already came out and said he's their starter next year.
Okay.
Now, granted, somebody comes available.
That's what I mean.
But then again, who you going to get? I mean, if you're not signing a veteran, like, they got to say that because there's really no quarterbacks to draft.
There's not.
So,
and the one thing, I don't think he's bad. I think you can work with him. I think he has something to work with.
You need some weapons.
That's what I mean. I think if you have him on his rookie contract for 2 more years, go get pieces.
Yeah.
Go get pieces to help him out.
Get Allen Robinson. He's going to be available.
He's going to be available.
You're probably going to be one of the only teams that can max pay him.
Yeah. Solidify that offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Jason Kelsey's fantastic. He's old as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, you want him to come back because he's awesome.
Right.
But still old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in the league a long time. But you get that offensive line right. Get a running back that's an actual running back. They don't have one that's a legit running back. You have Miles Sanders, who is he's not the running back. You don't give him the ball on 3rd down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You get yourself a running back. There's a market of running backs. Always one. There is. I know we talked about where Zeke would go. I think he would fit nice there.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that. Yeah. He can catch the ball still. They can do what Nick Sirianni likes to do, but go get yourself
flowers. That's what he likes to do.
Go get yourself a running back.
So let's go skip past this because we'll talk more about the Bucs with the lead in for the next games.
Yeah.
But Cowboys, 49ers. I can't believe they haven't fired Mike McCarthy yet. They should have.
The only and he should be fired. I know we had texted about that.
I'm not even talking about the play call.
No. Nope.
Because he has final veto on that play call. Mm-hmm. That's all well and done.
Yep.
I don't know how many times we've talked about it on this show. Seems like once a week at least about how bad he is at clock management.
Uh-huh.
And that'll do it. I'm okay with the draw.
Yeah, me too.
One, you got to go down 5 yards earlier. That is taught everywhere. That is a 10-yard play. Get down, hand the ball to the ref, spike it. Now we can run from the 25 to 30-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 14 seconds, a little shy on that. Most teams are 16-second teams when they talk about that. 14,
still can be done.
14 can be done.
Still can be done.
But you look like a bunch of guys that didn't know what they were doing in that position.
100%.
You got up and you gave it to the center.
Why the fuck would you give it to the center?
Then you left no room for the ref to get through.
Yeah.
And you know he has to touch the ball. And the ref did you a favor because he touched it and ran behind the defensive line. He didn't try to come back through.
Nope.
So, okay.
Yeah, that's on you 100% as the head coach.
Now, going back into it, we can also say, I don't understand how you built a stadium that you didn't know where the sun was going to be.
Yeah.
Because it's been a problem in multiple games for years.
The East-West, why the fuck do you build a stadium East and West?
I'd heard that they'd thought that a lot of buildings were going to go up because he owns all that property, that a lot of buildings were going to go up and it was going to block it out because the way that they can open that and look in, like those buildings, you'd be able to see into the stadium, so they'd be more valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it never happened, so maybe get some curtains.
Yeah.
Because when they showed that, they got guys that can't see when they're on a crossing pattern, and it's kind of important.
Yeah. That would piss me off.
The other Mike McCarthy thing he had 14 penalties.
Yeah.
8 of them were pre-snap. 7 of them
home.
7 of them cost a first down.
Mm-hmm.
Either way.
Yeah.
Either it gave San Francisco a first down or it took one away from you.
You had 8 pre-snap penalties at home.
And here's one. The one that you had is because one of your defensive guys tackled an offensive lineman on third down.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 14-second thing's not even a problem.
Nope, not at all.
And then it's also, you're not talking about Mike McCarthy if Jimmy G's not an idiot.
Yeah.
Of like, well, for sure on a quarterback sneak, you got to let the tight end get set.
Yeah. I mean,
game's over.
And
you got to get 2 inches. Well, there was a gap there. They were going to shift. It's 2 inches.
It's 2 inches. Get it. Number one is Trent Williams isn't a tight end, so he's not going to know.
You put him in motion.
Yeah. So make sure the fucker's set.
Yeah.
Before he's a tackle. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't practice that. No, obviously they did practice it, but still.
Well, it's the other thing of you're running a quarterback sneak. Why are you motioning a tackle around to the other side?
Well, they wanted everybody to shift towards him,
I
so he would
understand
just
that.
go back across the grain.
Everybody in the world knew you were running a sneak.
Yes.
Those
No, I
guys
get
were going to
that.
do what they did.
The only thing I can think of other than what I just said was to draw them offsides. You motion the tackle because nobody motions a tackle. You motion him up. You make him pop up.
Right.
Then you move him, trying to get that guy across from the jump.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can other think of. But yeah, you don't talk about the McCarthy thing if Jimmy didn't throw that pick.
Yeah.
Because they go down and score a field goal or
over.
a touchdown, and then it's over with. You don't have to worry about clock management. I'll go in with my McCarthy thing. You have the most talented fucking roster on the NFL league. Why are you losing in the playoff games?
How many catches CD Lamb have?
None.
How many catches Cooper have?
3. Something like that. It's not good.
I don't even know if it was that many.
No,
Might have been 2.
Your leading receiver was either Zeke or the Schultz guy.
Yeah.
The tight end.
I like how Michael Irvin put it. Your star players played like role players, and your role players were trying to be stars.
Yeah.
And he's not saying that derogatory toward the players. Of
Nope.
like, there was nothing designed for your star players to get the ball.
None. Nothing.
Dak Prescott is also not a good quarterback.
Not in that off, and not when they're not giving him the opportunity.
I've watched more and more Dallas stuff because I know obviously he's gone all of last year, but the years before, of like, well, he's averaging 325 yards.
It's
a game
all
and 4
garbage.
touchdowns.
It's all garbage
All
time
his
a little
yards.
bit. Yeah.
I've watched a lot of Dallas this year. All his yards come when they're down 2 scores.
Yeah.
When the game is tight, he is not a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They don't move the ball.
Yeah.
He doesn't complete passes.
Mm-hmm.
But now when teams start playing a prevent kind of, they're going to let you have the underneath route. All of a sudden, he goes 15 for 17 for 240 yards. And it's like, well, they lost again, but Dak Prescott threw for 400 yards. Like, yeah. Well, that's because they were down 20.
Yeah.
I mean,
you have that good of a team and you're not winning playoff games. You do not need to be that head coach. The whole staff, in my opinion, needs to be fired.
Yeah.
The whole staff. Everybody.
I can't believe what didn't happen is they didn't fire Mike McCarthy and hire Kellen Moore.
Mm-hmm. For some reason, Jerry Jones is a boner for that dude.
He gets that way. Well, it was the same way
with Jason Garrett. Yeah.
Jason Garrett, like every time they hired a new coach, it's like, well, you got to keep him as the offensive coordinator.
Why?
Which is the same thing he did to Mike McCarthy. If Kellen Moore's our offensive coordinator, so hire other people, but he's staying.
Not him. Yeah.
He's more important than you.
Yeah.
Of like, well, his game plans are shit.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mike McCarthy should have been fired after year 1, in my opinion, because of the people who he hired.
Yeah.
You hire a guy who has never had success calling a defense.
Yeah.
And you have players on defense.
Yeah.
Some would say some pretty good players on defense. And you don't hire a good one to do it. You had to wait till year 2.
Your buddy.
You hired your buddy. You had to wait till year 2 till Dan Quinn gets fired. And then it's like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll hire him because that's how that happens. The fact that not everybody's fired is stupid. And I like what Troy Aikman said, and it's towards the Cowboys, obviously, but it goes for everybody. He said if you're not going to win in the playoffs, then you're no different than the Jaguars or Jets who never made it.
If you don't win the last game of the year, nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
That's, how do you get, people always say that of like, well, how are you judging this coach doing this and this and creating the teams? Like wins and losses. Because it's the NFL.
Yeah.
Wins and losses.
Yep. Mike McCarthy should be fired.
Because
he will be fired after the first round of hires, my opinion, to see who's left. To see who's left.
Yeah.
If he's fired after the first round of hires, as long as somebody that Jerry likes.
Right.
And I will say this. He's fired after the first round of hires if Quinn or Moore is not hired by somebody.
Yeah. Which same thing he did with Garrett of like, it's like everybody knows you're going to fire him, just do it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to.
Well, he's like family to us. It's like, okay, you give him part of your ownership?
Yeah.
Because I doubt it. So he's not like a son to you. So.
Yeah. But that's what I can see happening is he's going to see who everybody else hires. If there's anybody left, if Moore and Quinn both haven't been hired, then one of those two will be the Dallas Cowboys head coach.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to fire McCarthy if there's not anybody better or he likes that's there. He's going to just keep him and ride it out.
Yeah. Well, moving to the last game of it.
Second to last game.
Second.
We had a Monday night game.
Yeah. Who was the night? Oh.
Who's you talking to the Chiefs and the Steelers?
Oh, yeah, that's another one. We don't need to talk about that game. Big Ben hopefully is done.
Yeah.
Looked bad. Steelers bad. They got a lot of shit to take care of. Chiefs did exactly what you thought they were going to do to the Steelers.
Yeah.
Took
a little longer than I thought.
Yeah.
But when it happened, it happened. It fucking happened, man. Wow.
Because that was what made it everything, You knew that was coming when the Bills did what the Bills did. It's like, all right, well, we're going to get basically.
We got to match that.
An last year's AFC championship game in the divisional round.
Yep. And it's going to be fantastic. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
We'll talk about that. Let's move to the Monday night game.
I'll go first on this one.
Go ahead.
Kingsbury should be fired.
Yes.
He should be fired. The Cardinals have done everything in the last 2 years to either get you a roster that is able to win, and they did that.
Yep.
They sign a lot of people. They have a lot of money invested in those players. And number two is you were not prepared to play that fucking game.
No.
You were not prepared. You had 2 fucking weeks to prepare for that game. And the Rams just beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And I said this months ago. The Rams are a finesse, pretty team, and they pummeled your ass like a fucking bully. They beat the hell out of you in the trenches.
And I will add into that of Kyler Murray ain't your guy.
No, he's not.
You could just see it. Like, soon as he was just moping around.
Dude, he played scared.
He was. and I said that during the game. That's Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
He played exactly how Carson Wentz plays.
Mm-hmm.
I've never, because like through the first 11 games, like he's the greatest quarterback in the world. And then everybody forgets about you got to finish the season.
Mm-hmm.
And
has it had the Russell Wilson effect?
Russell Wilson, Cliff Kingsbury, they all just collapse. And that's the other thing. Cliff Kingsbury's is his 3rd straight year he's done that.
Yep.
Because I think the stat was, I don't remember which order it was. Like, I think it was this year he lost the last 7 out of 9. Last year it was the last 6 out of 8. And then the year before that it was the last 5 out of 6. And then when you go back into college, same exact way.
Yeah.
Of like how he finessed himself into that job.
I have no idea. I don't know how of all of the college coaches, I'm not sure how he got that spot.
Well, that's the thing too of like, now they went through some coaches, but I love when they do that of, they shit can Bruce Arians.
Yeah.
And then they go get all these dudes of like, why didn't you get these dudes when you had a coach?
Yeah. And you know why they fired Bruce Arians? Because he kept getting old quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's why he went and got Carson Palmer. And he went to the fucking playoffs. He went 2 years in a row with Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
And Larry Fitzgerald. And you had to play Aaron Rodgers. There's no reason you didn't win. And I think you won one of them, if I remember correctly.
I think they did.
Off the Fitzgerald catch at the end or the 2-point conversion or something. But still, man, it's these
and
teams.
I understand they use that. Well, Hopkins is like, that's fine. I wouldn't have been upset if you'd have just lost the game.
Yeah, but
you didn't even play in the game.
No, you got embarrassed. Embarrassed. Big time.
And that was, I think it was Orlovsky, I heard him talking about, of Kingsbury's offense. They only run like 5 plays.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So if you, they do this and this is all they do. These are their route concepts. So if we just like stick a linebacker 8 yards off the line, then they can't do anything. Nope. Feels like they're going to figure that out.
And that's what I mean by you weren't prepared for that game. You weren't. You didn't even act like you prepared for that game based off the things that you were doing. I mean, you were down 2 scores early and had, there's a calm sense of urgency that you need to have to, hey, this is the fucking NFL. We need to put points on the board here. You didn't have that.
Well, it's another one of those of, hey, you got a running game. Use it.
Yeah.
And when you did use it, it was only bullshit use.
And it was too late.
Hey, let's run it up the center. Of like,
it was too late. It was 21 zip.
Yeah.
It was way too late. And how I want to say this, you wasted your talent because you never did anything vertically up the field.
Yeah.
Everything was a swing pass or a drag or something. You didn't do anything vertical. You didn't make anybody create separation for themselves.
That is one thing that gets me. And I understand it when you get that little swing game after the wide receivers and stuff. But when you 4 or 5 times throw for a loss in the NFL, of like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I mean,
down 28-0, you were still throwing horizontal passes.
Yeah. And I think Russ even said that on the Manning cast of like, it's still the fourth quarter and they're down 3 scores or whatever, and Kyler's just kind of sitting on the bench moping, and Russell's like, hey, this is a time like you need to be up and down the sideline getting your guy. Like, this game isn't over yet.
No, you can score. They score quick.
Yeah.
People watch them
but you just like, we're down. We might as well give up.
And the one thing that came to mind to me watching that first half and watching their slide is the good teams get better in December.
Yeah.
The good teams get better in December. You watch it all year. Look at last year. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady didn't have that offense figured out till like end of November, early December.
Yeah.
Then in January in the playoffs. Look at the Rams. People didn't know if they were going to be a playoff team in November.
Yeah.
Hell, right at Halloween they got beat by the Titans. Bad, embarrassed. They dropped a couple games they shouldn't have dropped. You even look at a couple of the other teams. Obviously, some of the wild card teams, you're not sure if they're a playoff team,
right.
But your division winners, the Titans got scary, weird when Derrick Henry goes down.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's thinking, they're out. Nope. They get better. Good teams get better, and they're not a good team. And it partly is because of your coach.
Yeah. You're quitters.
Yeah.
You can really say, hey, look, you came out flat, you got down, and then you just kind of quit.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's why you should be fired. The morale on the team.
Yeah. It's like, that's one of those ones where, like, boy, it really looks like you lost your team.
Mm-hmm. I can see Chandler Jones not taking that money they're going to give him.
Yeah.
Well, I'll go get paid somewhere else.
Yeah.
If I'm going to lose, if I'm going to lose like this, go somewhere else.
Anywhere. Everybody needs him.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, you want to get into them?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. First game up on Saturday. Bengals at the Titans. Bengals are getting 3.5. Last I saw. Money line. Bengals are plus 180.
Oh, okay.
160. Sorry. Which goes to, 3.5 point of like on a money line game. And like, if you're going to make some money, you bet the Bengals to win on a money line.
Yeah.
Which that 160 number is like, really?
Uh-huh. It's shocking to me that it's a good number.
It's a hell of a good number for a team. Like, I don't think anybody's going to be shocked Cincinnati wins this game.
No.
Now, a lot of that comes with Derrick Henry. He's a full participant in practice. I believe there is Derrick Henry's going to play unless he gets hurt early, but expect Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
Don't expect 15 carries. Expect 25 carries.
You don't bring him back unless he's 100% because you're going to have him next year.
Yeah, because if you can't, there's no reason to have him on a pitch count because 15 carries is not what Derrick Henry does.
No.
Derrick Henry does 25 carries.
Yeah. People tackle Derrick Henry at 15 carries.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to tackle Derrick Henry at 20.
No.
Because they're tired of it.
Yeah. So the fact that he's full participant, I'm sure he's still questionable, but he's a full go.
Mm-hmm.
Expect 20 to 25 carries unless the Bengals do what the Bengals have to do to win the game.
Yeah, is start fast and end fast.
Yep.
They're going to have to put points up on the board quick. Or you're going to get a heavy dose of Derrick Henry. And A.J. Brown, Julio are all healthy. I think everybody is healthy on the Titans that, I think they have their whole team back from the beginning of the year. Even that linebacking room is back.
Well, the good thing on this one is Titans get Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
They're a run team first.
Yeah.
Always have been.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati's weakness now is the interior because they lost in Joby.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a problem stopping the run.
Yeah.
Now, the Bengals can run the ball, but they're a pass team.
Yeah.
The Titans are one of the worst pass defense teams in the league.
Yeah.
So it's like each team's strength is going against the weakest portion of the other team.
And I will say this. What's going to make the difference in the I'll say this, of the weaker points, the Titans have the advantage.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, you can say, they throw the ball. What about guarding Jamar Chase? All that. That's fine. You can have that advantage. There's two parts of a passing game.
Yep.
One of them is blocking.
Yeah.
And they're not real good at that.
No.
And what the Titans like to do is rush 4 and get to the quarterback with 4.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And they like to do it from the interior. Jeffrey Simmons is going to have a field day with those bad interior offensive linemen for the Bengals. That's the only thing that I'm worried about. Burrow's not going to have a pocket to step up in because that big motherfucker is going to be standing right there.
Yeah.
That's the only the Titans are bad pass defense because their corners suck, not because they are bad up front. And I think that's where their advantage lies.
Yeah, I agree with that. Of the Bengals are going to have to run that, the screen game. You got to do something to slow those guys down.
I think the screen game's big. I think running the football is big for them.
I do too.
Joe Mixon is good. Your offensive line is weirdly good at running at run blocking.
Yeah.
And play the game that they're going to play.
It's one of those ones like if the Bengals run the ball 25 times, they win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the
they
same
run
way.
the ball 10 times.
Yeah, it's going to be a toss up.
Now, first quarter, Derrick Henry rips off a 40-yard run.
You're in trouble.
Okay.
Yep.
We got a problem.
Yeah. Man, it's going to be a good game.
I'm looking forward to it. Even though, obviously I'm a Bengals fan.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's probably the end. But
weirder things have happened.
Yeah.
The Titans got beat by the Steelers with Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gettable.
They're gettable.
They're gettable.
I mean, it's not like they're it's not like they're the Chiefs from 2 years ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean,
they're the number one seed where you're like,
what? Here's the thing: is the Bengals got the best part of the draw.
100% they did.
The fact that the Bills have to go to Kansas City and you don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
and that's the sad part.
The Bengals got the best thing the Bengals could have happen is they have to play the number one seed.
Yeah.
So,
oh man, picking that game.
Do it.
Titans plus 3.5.
Titans minus 3.5.
Sorry, minus 3.5. I'm going Titans.
Okay.
I'm going to go Titans with the minus 3.5. One, I think their running game's good without Derrick Henry. And I think they're going to do all they can to keep the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands.
Yeah.
And they're weirdly efficient.
Yeah.
They're weirdly efficient, and they have an offensive line to punch it in on the goal line.
Yeah.
And those are the reasons for me, and I think that their defensive line takes advantage of the Bengals' offensive line.
I am going to take the Bengals plus the 3.5.
Good.
Because, and I'm not saying the Bengals win, but I could see it being a 3-point game.
Oh, yeah.
I think that hook's very important. Because, Titans really, I could be wrong. I mean, Derrick Henry could run it, just get off, and Brown, all of a sudden they're just scoring on every possession. But I don't see that. I don't see a blowout happening here. So I'm going to take the Bengals. And if FanDuel was in Ohio,
Yeah.
I would probably put $100. I'd put $100 on.
I do the money line
on
for
the money line for the Bengals.
I would do the money line on the Bengals for sure. Why not?
It's the only way you would make. That's the only game where there's an odds dog big enough to where you could actually bet it, and it's not great, but it's still something.
I can see the Bengals winning the game.
I can too.
It's not. I don't think it's so out of reach.
I could see that if it like the third quarter of the Chiefs game, like if they started that way, where it's just like holy shit, of like
they're here,
boom, 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 all of a sudden, they score 17 points in the first quarter of like, oh shit,
and it is so weird to say that the Bengals have a matchup better with the Chiefs because they're more athletic.
Yeah.
And their linebackers are more athletic. Than this run heavy power team.
Yeah.
You're down one of your best run stuffers. The Titans seem like it's them. Yeah. That's just my opinion. But I know the Bengals can win, man. There's no doubt in my mind that they can win.
I'm excited for that game.
No, the game's gonna be good. It's no team. Those teams are not going to blow each other out. They don't do that. You saw it last week with the Bengals. The Bengals had every opportunity to blow the Raiders out.
Yeah, that game should have been over by halftime.
Yeah.
All right, tomorrow's night game is the Packers.
Yeah.
Hosting the 49ers. Yes. I believe the Packers are minus 5.5, I believe is the last I saw.
It's a weird one, too.
That is there's one team in the NFC that is built to beat the Packers. I'm not saying that the Bucs and them can't beat the Packers.
But they are 100%.
49ers are built to beat the Packers.
Yeah, and they've done it.
Hey, we just keep the ball away from you. You struggle. Now, here's the thing. Because the Packers' run defense is okay as far as ratings go.
Yes.
But the Packers are in the lead a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, as they are a top 10 run defense, they're like 31st in the league of runs per attempt.
Yeah.
So, but not knowing how those numbers work out. But it's like, well, the Packers jump up 14-0 on a lot of teams, and then they just don't run the ball. But when they do run the ball, they're successful at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think the one thing we know, 49ers are going to run the ball.
Yeah. They're going to run the ball, and let's just say it. Shanahan's got LaFleur's number over the last couple of years, So that's where my head's at. I'm going to take the Niners in the points.
Yeah.
That 5.5, I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take the Niners if it was 3.
Right.
But that 5.5 seems okay. But like you said, they're going to run the football. The only thing that the Packers have going for them is 1, Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
2, the Niners defense is not as dominant as it was 2 years ago when they played in the NFC Championship game. They're very gettable. You're able to throw the ball deep on them.
Yeah.
And, the play action game. And don't forget, the Packers can run the football too.
Oh, yeah. And that's and everybody's getting cleared for the 49ers. Bosa, I think today should have been cleared.
Yeah, he's good to
he
go.
was a full participant, but you got to get the
nod.
The doctor's approval. Jimmy G, is going to play. I'm blanking on their linebacker's name. That kind of rolled his ankle or whatever.
Oh, Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like he's going to. He's still listed, but it seems like hey, if you can go, he's going to go. Now I am going to take Packers minus 5.5. Strictly on it's going to be 0.
Yeah.
And hey, if not now, win.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
If not now, win. You got to do it now.
I 100% think the Packers are going to win this game. I'm just taking the points.
Yeah, I understand.
I think the Packers are going to win this game for your reason alone.
Yeah.
This is your opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
You can beat the Bucs. There's that. You can beat the Bucs just fine. You're only worried about Tom Brady, but you got to get these Niners. They're tough. They're mean. They're physical. Get past that.
Yeah.
And let's not take away from the fact that George Kittle had 1 catch last week.
He seems to all of a sudden not be a part of the offense. Every 5th game he goes for 140 yards.
I want to say with him is he blocks so well.
Yeah, he's a blocking tight end.
He's blocked so well that it's like, well, I'm just going to put him in my run. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things to where I can get Debo the ball, Ayuk, all these other, you know what I mean, to make up for that. And I know that he's out there, run blocking. And I think Orlovsky talked about it on McAfee or Get Up or something like that, of the 22 personnel that they put out there.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a fullback, a tight end, that it makes you put it in your sub package, but they're like, nope.
But it's not.
Because I have a fullback, a tight end that blocks, and I'm going to run the football when you're in your sub package.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
Crazy that they can do that.
Gotta have the parts to do that.
Yeah, but I think that's where the Packers are going to struggle, because I don't know if they are going to have the guys in there to stop it.
Like the bad thing for the Packers is for the 49ers to get the ball first, and I mean just march it down, just run the ball right down the field and score.
Yep.
Because now it's in the, hey man, like you couldn't stop the run on the first drive.
Yeah. But the Packers are all healthy now. All their defenders, their linebackers are back.
Yep.
I'll say this from the last time that they played each other, because I know that's what everybody wants to compare it to. Devontae Campbell, they didn't have him. They didn't have that type of guy when they played him the first time. They didn't have a run-stopping linebacker.
Right.
I mean, this guy is that's why he's there. That's why he still has a contract. And I don't know. I feel like the Packers win the game, but the Niners are definitely going to keep it close.
Yeah.
One of the hitches of the Niners, and is why the game wasn't a blowout like it was last week, is they settle for a lot of field goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they can't. Not against Aaron Rodgers.
Nope. All right. So the next one is Bucs-Rams, I believe.
Yeah.
Was that the early game on Sunday?
I think so.
I think it is.
I
think the Bucs are -3.
Yeah.
I'll go first here. I am taking the Rams plus the 3 of there's just 2. I'm not betting against Tom Brady at all. A lot of injuries, a lot of shit. I know Leonard Fournette, chance he's going to play, and I'm probably going to regret this. This will be my main loss of the weekend. But they're in the same thing of like, hey, you did all this shit. You better do it. Like, you better do it now.
I want the Rams to win this game.
Yeah.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. And it's not for the fact that I'm tired of seeing Tom Brady win. It's just I want to see a Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers NFC Championship game.
That would be amazing.
You know what I mean? Just something like that. And again, am I tired of seeing Tom Brady win? No, because I like the guy. I don't have anything against him. But I want to see somebody just fucking beat him for once. You know what I mean? It's like, other than Eli Manning, I want to see somebody beat this guy, you know? The Rams, I think, can do it. I don't see them doing it this year.
No.
I got to take the Bucs. I got to take the Bucs and the points.
Laying points.
My bad. Yeah. Sorry. Said the wrong words. But yeah, I'm taking the Bucs with the -3.
Yeah, this is the one I don't know what's going to happen in this game.
I think the Rams can win. They have the pieces to do it.
100% they do.
With their starting safety out again, and with Andrew Whitworth not playing, man, the Bucs get their pass rushers back. Their defense is going to be healthy.
Yep.
It's tough, man. It'll be a tough game. The Bucs are going to win the game for sure, but the Rams can do it.
Yeah. And now the game that everybody's looking forward to, that'll probably be a blowout somehow.
Yeah. I hope it is. I hope the fucking Bills beat the piss out of them.
That is a ±1.5, I believe.
Yeah.
I think Kansas City's -1.5 because they're the home team.
Uh-huh.
I have been back and forth on this game. I am going to pick the Bills because just the way they played last week. But I don't feel confident about it at all. Because with what they did last week, we forget that the Patriots aren't that good, that they just beat a bunch of bad teams.
Yep.
And that like 3 weeks ago, the Bills were getting shit kicked by terrible teams that are picking top 10, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, like you just kind of forget everything that happened just based off one game.
One thing that I'll say is I'm picking the Bills too. I mean, that's probably the only game we're going to decide on because I don't want to pick the Chiefs. The Bills beat the Chiefs by a lot in Kansas City. I don't know, November, something like that. I know it's been a while ago, and it's hard to beat a team twice. But the way that they did it, it's not that hard to repeat that. Now, the Chiefs have done something that I didn't think they would do, and they got patient. They're taking the underneath stuff. The one thing that they didn't do against the Bills the first time was use Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing they've been doing the last 3 weeks is using Travis Kelce.
Yeah. Well, because he's the kryptonite. The Bills have two of the best safeties in the game. Well, Travis Kelce's kind of the guy that eliminates that.
Mm-hmm. And what I will say is the Bills are able to, they play 9 defensive linemen.
Yeah.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
That they play they rotate 9 defensive linemen against a Chiefs team that was dominated by a bad Steelers front.
Yeah.
In the first half, I should say. I mean, they didn't run the ball. They couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
Now the Chiefs don't, but still, you can't do that. You double teamed TJ Watt. You had to spend somebody chip. I mean, the Bills can do it with 9 guys. They're going to be fresh. They're going to be ready to go. They're athletic enough on the back end to tackle. I don't know. It's all on Josh Allen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't screw up.
Yep.
Don't screw up. Stick to the game plan. Hit the guys that are open. Do the thing that you've been doing all year, and just go out there and win the game.
Yeah. All right, both on the Bills.
Yeah, I like the Bills so much. They just seem so fun to watch.
Yeah.
And you root for them, like we talked about with the locker room and things like that.
Yeah. I'm all in for it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody, enjoy it. There's 4 games this weekend. There's only 2 games next weekend.
I know it. It's wrapping up.
It's wrapping down, and we're going to get into that portion of the season where we got to start making up shit to talk about because God knows we're not talking about basketball because nobody gives a shit.
No.
And, baseball, is that even a thing?
No, it's not.
Find a new sport, maybe curling.
Yeah.
Start talking about curling. But the dog days are coming.
Yeah.
NFL football is going to be great for another, this week, next week, and then the Super Bowl week.
Mm-hmm.
And then dark times are here. And then it's another 8 months before we got something else to do.
Yep.
So that's all I got for you, pal.
Yeah, I don't have anything else.
All right, hit it.
Wideside!